Okay, welcome all to the session on Animal Diversity Chordata Part 1, Class Reptilia. And here we are going to discuss on the type species Calotes. So this is the Calotes versicolor, the common garden lizard, and we'll be looking at in detail the different organ systems, the morphology, the skeletal system, etc. of Calotes versicolor to study in detail the structure of a typical reptilian. Calotes, the systematic position, it belongs to the phylum Chordata, subphylum Vertebrata, division Gnathostomata, superclass Tetrapoda, class Reptilia, subclass Diapsida, order Squamata, suborder Lacertilia, family Agamidae, genus Calotes, and the species Calotes versicolor, the specific name being the versicolor. So I hope each of these we have already dealt with. Chordata, because they do have a notochord in any of the stages of their life. Vertebrata, because it is being replaced by a vertebral column. Gnathostomata, they do have jaws in them. Then Tetrapoda, because they have 4 pairs of limbs. Then Reptilia, obviously we have already seen the characters of Reptilia. Diapsida, they have 2 temporal fossa. Squamata, it includes lizards and snakes, Lacertilia, the lizards, and Agamidae, the specific group which includes the Calotes. Okay. Now, this is the Calotes versicolor, and you can see that the Calotes versicolor, it is a common garden lizard, and commonly it is known as girgit in North India and owned in Malayalam, and it is most commonly distributed Indian species. Calotes is a common arboreal lizard of gardens and fields, and it is diurnal, often found sitting on tree branches, shrubs, and hedges, and they are camouflage with the surroundings. It is very swift in running over the ground and also swims in water. It is insectivorous but also feeds on earthworms, small lizards, and frogs. Sexes are separate, showing no sexual dimorphism externally. Its breeding period is from May to November, and it lays eggs in crevices or in debris. Uh, Direct development without any larval form. This is a few features regarding the Calotes versicolor. Now we'll look into the morphological features in detail. Now regarding the shape, size, and color, body here you can see it is elongated, slender, lizard-like, and it is divisible into the here head, the neck, compressed one, the trunk, and the long tail. Uh, Male is brightly colored golden yellow with a greenish tinge. Throat is scarlet red. And because of this red color of its throat, it is otherwise known as oriental bloodsucker. And often have black transverse bar. Female is not so brightly colored, and male is larger and stronger than female, measuring about 35 centimeter in length, including the tail. The head is large and somewhat pyramidal in shape, uh, with a sharp conical snout, the most anterior-most portion, which bears a wide slit-like aperture, the mouth running round the anterior border of the head, and a pair of small external nares situated, you can see the nostrils. In this figure, obviously the pyramidal snout, you can see the conical one, the nostrils are not so clearly visible here, situated from above the anterior extremity. And at the sides of the head are the eyes, which each provide with upper and lower opaque movable eyelids and with a transparent nictitating membrane, which, when withdrawn, lies in the anterior angle of the orbit. Behind the eye is a circular patch of skin. It is here you can see this is a tympanic membrane. Okay, so the very clearly it is visible and somewhat sunk below the general level of the skin. Regarding the trunk, head is connected with the trunk with a short neck, and the trunk is elongated, strongly convex dorsally, laterally compressed, and flattened ventrally. At the junction of the trunk and tail on the ventral surface is a slit-like transverse aperture, the cloacal aperture. The trunk bears 2 pairs of limbs, and each forelimb has an upper arm. You can see here it is written brachium. The B has gone This is the brachium, the upper arm, the forearm or the antebrachium, and the hand, it is otherwise known as the mammus, and five uh, horny clawed digits. While each hind limb comprises the thigh, the shank, the foot, yeah, or pes, it is known as, and here also we have the five clawed digits, but the first digit or the hallux is the smallest one. Okay, so this it is regarding the trunk region. Regarding the tail, it is cylindrical, tapering, showing like alternate dark and light annuli, and is nearly twice as long as head and trunk together. In adult male, the base of tail just behind the cloacal aperture becomes quite swollen due to hemipenis. Now, skin, it is dry and devoid of glands. The body is entirely covered by epidermal, horny, and backwardly directed scales. You can see here. I hope the scale is visible. It is backwardly directed and of unequal size, which are periodically shed in flakes. On the head, prominent shield covers the parietal foramen, and two spines are present above each ear opening. Over the head and trunk, along the mid-dorsal line, is a characteristic. You can see here. This is a characteristic feature of large spine-like movable scales. Okay, here it is a little more prominently drawn. These are directed backward and gradually diminishing in size posteriorly. The mid-dorsal crest of spines, and there are melanophores lying deep in the dermis and iridocytes and lipophores more superficially. It is able to change color. The color may change with the environment, serving the purpose of camouflage, concealment, hiding, etc. Melanophores are controlled partly or entirely by the sympathetic nervous system. The color is largely controlled through the eyes, and you can see scales and claws form the exoskeleton um, of most of the reptiles, including the Calotes here. Now, regarding the scales, scales form a continuous covering over the body of Calotes, but becomes thinner in the grooves between the scales. Um, Scales on the body of Calotes are of two types, large and smaller ones. The sensory apertures in the form of bristles are present on both the scales, and these are known as prototrichus. The scales are epidermal in origin and develop from malpighian layer, and each scale is a plate-like structure supported by a bony plate. Uh, Regarding the claws, tips of digits of the Calotes are provided with sharp claws, and each claw is made up of a dorsal and ventral scale-like horny plate. Dorsal plate, it is known as unguis, and ventral plate is known as subunguis. And the latter, that is the subunguis, is flattened. Both these plates are derived from the Malpighian layer, and it is placed in such a way that their coverage should form a sharp claw. So this is about the morphological features of Calotes. So as already seen, Calotes versicolor, it's a common garden lizard, and they have a typical lizard-like body. One thing we can see that Calotes and chameleon, they both are garden lizards, and in chameleon we can see a crest around the neck region. They have eyes placed on a cone-shaped part. Here it is not like that, and then they have the uh, like they are very slow moving. The chameleons, while Calotes, they are fast runners, and both do have the ability to change their body color to camouflage to their surroundings. So uh, almost it is a little more smaller, Calotes, compared to chameleon, and Calotes is more common and widely distributed as compared to the chameleon. Okay, so thank you.